Hello folks, and Happy New Year. I hope that your New Year was safe, happy, and that you enjoyed your family. I'm going to be discussing something very important today about the battle for your mind. And some of you may recognize I'm playing Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young in the background here. A song titled I Almost Cut My Hair. The reason why I'm playing that song, that music, is because it brings me back to the time of my rebellion and how I was, my mind was bombarded by social change to conform to a certain way of life. And to be honest with you, they captured me for a while, but I broke free from the matrix. And I'm here today to talk to you about your mind and about what they want. I have a book here, a gem that I found on a bookshelf in an old store. I always look for old books so I can study accurate history. It's called T Group Theory and Laboratory Method, Innovations in Re-Education. This book was written in copyrighted in 1963, right about the time of the new sexual revolution of the 60s, if you remember. And I'm going to read a couple things out of here really quickly for you. Let's see here. The increased understanding of personal and social change has a high priority on the agenda of contemporary behavioral science. New and improved methods for facilitating the humane management of change and increasingly required in a democratic action. Creative social practitioners are seeking widely to bring the resources of the behavioral sciences and the needs of democratic action into a reciprocal working relationship. Remember, Karl Marx said that communists must align themselves with the democracies of the world, because through those democracies they could facilitate change and implement the new Marxist ideals. Efforts in contemporary America to improve social practice in the spirit of science and democracy are numerous and varied. One such effort began in a training laboratory at Bethel, Maine during the summer of 1947. Let me just get this down a little bit more here. This laboratory was designed to try out new methods for re-educating human behavior in social relationships. Joint experimentation with laboratory methods by a growing number of behavioral scientists and social practitioners has followed this beginning. Reported here are some aspects of this 16-year experiment and effort. Let me read this next paragraph to you. This approach to re-education is rightly associated with the National Training Laboratory and Group Development of the National Education Association, which held its first laboratory session at Bethel, Maine in 1947. So we see that first laboratory was conducted by the NEA, folks. Since that time, the National Training Laboratories, the name used since 1951, so they changed their name to the National Training Laboratories, has conducted many training laboratories at Bethel and elsewhere. And you wonder where the NEA gets their information for, or how they educate these professors and educators in our school system, how they get to them and what they do. Now they take them to these training laboratories and they teach them how to re-educate America. I'm going to skip over a very important part I had here because I want to get to this, and I don't want to make this video too long. Laboratories have continued to work most broadly with a growing population of professional helpers who have educational and consultative responsibilities. These professional helpers function in a wide variety of community, educational, governmental, and industrial organizations. So what they have done is they have created the trainers that will go into the workplace, go into the educational institutions and our society in general, leadership roles, and also included in there would be in religious organizations, and they are re-educating the way we think. Remember the movie The Matrix. Remember how no one knew they were in a matrix until they were exposed to it, until they swallowed the pill. What was it, the red pill? And they realized that reality set in, and they could see a bigger picture of what had happened. The battle is for your mind. The battle has always been for your mind. It's a spiritual warfare. They want to control your mind. They want to control your mind so they can control the outcome. I'm going to take an example very, very quickly. Let's take abortion. That's a real something no one wants to discuss. Well, it's something we need to talk about. Abortion is murder. If it wasn't murder, you wouldn't be killing a living thing. That living thing is a human being. Is it some kind of a subspecies of an animal? Nope, it's a human being. Is it some kind of a foreign object? No, it's a human being. That's why it's growing inside of a human being, because it is a human being. It's a baby. Now our government says that it's okay to abort living beings, kill them. So what is the result of that? The result of that is the devaluation of human life. Thus you have, in modern day times, since abortion was deemed illegal in the United States, you now have young women killing their born children because the value of that life is no longer there as it was in previous times when we valued life. And women scream and yell, and everyone yells about rights and respect and dignity and all these things, where in actuality what they're doing is they're devaluing our human lives. They're devaluing women, and women don't even realize it. Let's take a look at Sex in the City, Desperate Housewives. What kind of a message does that send to society? But yet we have women who want to go and they want to seek their professions and become successful and things of that nature, and the family suffers at home. This whole world is not about what we can take, it's about what we can give. They want us to think that it's all about what we can take for ourselves, therefore denying everyone else. That's against the laws of nature and the natural law. We better sharpen up. We better start re-educating people to the truth. The truth is that God's laws of nature have been good since the beginning of time and will be good until eternity. And we need to get back to those rock-solid foundations of valuing life for real, of serving our fellow man, of respecting our fellow human being, of giving rather than taking. Remember the golden rule? Hey folks, freedom is never free, never has been, and it never will be. Fight. Fight for everything you can.